Before we start this episode of Sports Legends with Bevo, a shout out to two of our sponsors, Ryan Bridges from Elders Goolwa and also Steve Chapman from Victor Harbour Motor Co. Make sure you see both those guys if you're looking to buy a car or buy a house or sell a car or sell a house. You'll see their details up on the screen now. Obviously, two local legends, so make sure you get behind them and really appreciate their support. Well, what a pleasure it is to have the one and only Kyle Chalmers on Sports Legends with Bevo again, fresh off another gold medal to add to the collection. That was part of a 4x100 metre freestyle relay in Singapore, and obviously came third in the 100 metres freestyle final. We'll get to that in a moment, mate. But firstly, congratulations in winning that gold medal in the 4x100, which a lot of people said was going to be a tough one to do, but you boys did it again.
Yeah, they seem to say that every year about our relay team, which I quite like. We're the underdogs going in, and I think we always come together as a really good group. Like compared to a lot of the other teams, I feel that we have some really great camaraderie, and I think we believe that we were able to win, whereas everyone else kind of thought we'd be a chance of making the final or maybe getting a medal at best. But to be able to win it and break the championship record, and I think it's the third fastest time ever in the 4x1 freestyle relay, and those first two times were done in the super suits. So in a way, it's a textile world record, but yeah, super excited to get a gold medal on night number one, and the young boys that we've got coming through in that relay is very exciting.
And as I mentioned before, the 100 metre freestyle in the end coming bronze there, but you swam as hard as you could, mate, 27 years old, and all the setbacks you've had along the way to, still finish with a bronze medal is a credit to you, because you got obviously beaten by two amazing swimmers as well at the same time. And you said post-race that you were pretty happy with the way you swam.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 47.1 was my time in the final, which is, I think, my second or third fastest time ever in my swimming career. So I'm very, very proud of myself that I was able to deliver again one of my fastest times in a championship final. Like my fastest time of 47.08 was done in an Olympic final. I've actually done that twice. It was in an Olympic final and a world championship final. And then my second fastest time was done, 47.11 was done in a world championship final. And then this one was a third world championship final that I was able to swim my third best time ever in my swimming career. So incredible. I'm proud that I'm able to stand up in the finals and swim my very best time, and to be able to come away with a medal as one of the veterans of the sport now is very special. I think it's quite rare for someone to kind of stay on the podium for such a long period of time, and that's something I'm super proud of, that I've been able to stay on the podium since 2016, and to get a bronze medal, that's actually my worst result ever internationally. Which is great. It's still third in the world. So I really cannot complain. I'm super, super proud of that. And those guys that beat me absolutely flew. But again, it's motivating, and I know what I need to improve on moving forward if I'm going to be able to continue to win medals. And my dream is to still win an Olympic gold medal in LA. So I'm motivated and excited to get back to the pool and work harder than ever to try and beat those younger boys coming through.
You must have such amazing resilience. Like I talked about, you've had some challenges with your mental health and your body as well. I think you said before you can't play golf anymore because your shoulders are so buggered. How have you pushed through all these challenges? And what advice do you have for other people, perhaps some of the younger swimmers or younger athletes coming through, Kyle, that are going through similar challenges to you?
I guess that there's light at the end of the tunnel with mental health. It's a very challenging thing, especially when you're in those dark moments, to believe that you can actually come out of it and I guess learn from it and be a better human from going through those challenges. So for me, yes, it really sucked having to go through mental health and deal with depression and anxiety and be medicated for that and whatnot. But I know that I've become such a stronger person from having to go through that. And there's so many skills that I've learned that I'm aware of, that if I start to kind of slip down that slope like every human does at different points in time, I know what picks me back up and makes me feel better and what I need to do to kind of get back on track. So I'm able to kind of flick the switch a little bit quicker. But I think it's just, reminding yourself or those swimmers that there is light at the end of the tunnel and you're going to wake up and feel better. It might not be tomorrow, it might not be next week, but at some point in time, if you continue to do the right things, get yourself healthy, you will be able to get through it. And I guess this is the same with injury as well. Like injuries can last a week, they can last 12 months. You never really know. And I've had some pretty serious injuries in my time, with both my shoulders being operated on, my ankle being operated on. I've had a really bad back. I've had about 12 cortisones in my back. So yeah, throughout my swimming career, I've had to deal with quite a lot of injury setbacks and missed competitions or training sessions. And again, I guess just believing in the process, trusting in the process, doing what the doctors, doing what the physios are telling you to do. They're the experts and are going to get you back in the pool or on the sporting field or back to work, whatever it might be. But I think if you don't listen to what physios and doctors are saying and try to rush back, that's when you kind of get those setbacks and it just prolongs the injury at times. And I know, again, as I've got older, I've got a whole lot better at trusting the advice of professionals and not just trying to get back in the pool the next day and push myself as hard as I possibly can. And I guess it's all about listening to your body, listening to your mind, and trying your very best to overcome those challenges. But yeah, definitely had to overcome a few in my career, and it's no different than any athlete or any human. Like every human has to go through challenges. My challenges become public, so it makes it a little bit more challenging at times. But everyone definitely has to go through setbacks at times. And yeah, I guess it just makes the victories and the stories sweeter when it's all said and done at the end of my career. Like, you know, if I'm able to win a medal like this year at the World Championships, I stand on the podium so proudly because I know what has come to get to that point. And I'm so proud of myself that I've been able to find a way back every single time and fight my way back to being on that podium.
It's a credit to you, mate. And I can relate in some way, not that I'm comparing myself to you, but getting to speak to idols like yourself after going through bullying challenges in high school, and to think that I found it so difficult in high school, and now I get to speak to people like you and all these other amazing sporting past and present legends. Then it's kind of like, take that, bullies.
Yeah, exactly. That's an incredible story in itself as well. And I mean, I get jealous of some of the people you've got to interview and meet in your time. You've met some of my absolute legends and childhood heroes as well. So you're living the dream, mate.
Oh, that's too kind. Thank you. Hey, speaking of exciting things, you can't wipe the smile off your face at the moment because it's been a very big 12 months for you. Congratulations for a number of things. Firstly, engagement to Ingeborg. Did I get that correct?
Yeah, that's pretty good for an Australian. I also struggle to pronounce her name, so I just go with Ingy. A lot of them,
yep.
But she learned that Australia, we have nicknames. Like you've got Bevo, we've all got nicknames, and that's kind of what we rock with. So Ingeborg is now known as Ingy. Got engaged, I guess, a bit over a year ago now. So that was very special.
And where did you guys meet?
We met in 2000 we started hanging out a little bit probably in the end of 2022 at a World Cup in Germany. So I was over there swimming. She's an Olympian for Norway, and she was at the same swimming competition as me. And we, by chance, sat next to each other for lunch one day because we kind of knew of each other, and I was the only Australian there. And obviously Norway doesn't have a huge amount of swimmers as well, so she would have been one of the only Norwegians there. And we sat next to each other and had lunch, got along really well, and kind of kept chatting from there. And I didn't think that 3 years later we'd be getting married and preparing to have a baby in a couple of weeks' time. So it's been a very special journey that we've been on, but I'm super grateful that swimming obviously has brought me so much, but it's also brought me Ingy and my soon-to-be daughter.
Amazing. Congratulations to you both. And where was date number one, mate, most importantly?
Where?
Yeah.
Well, the food buffet at the Berlin World Cup. So we, like I said, sat down next to each other and had a buffet lunch together. And I guess that was a good enough first date for her. Good. She's not too high on maintenance, so for me.
I like it. And you've now got a place together in the Adelaide Hills as well. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so I moved up to the Adelaide Hills. That's been a dream of mine for a long time. I always envisioned myself moving back to Port Lincoln. Like, I'm a country boy at heart and always wanted to go back there with my family and friends and relatives. All my cousins and stuff are there. But I think I've kind of found my happy place up in the hills. Like we're on a little hobby farm. We've got 20 acres, so I've got some cows, got some sheep. I've got a tractor, a motorbike I can ride around on, and so yeah, moved up here in May, and yeah, absolutely loving it. So it's yeah, I'm living the absolute dream. So I really have no reasons at the moment to be upset. Like everything's going really well, and super happy with how life is at the moment.
More importantly, do you have reptiles there?
Not at the moment, but I will definitely get reptiles back at some point. You know me, mate. Yeah, I'll be getting the reptiles back. I've just got to, I guess, become a dad first. See what that, obviously, what I need to do to be the best possible father. That's going to be my number one priority. I'm still going to be swimming. That's going to be a major priority of mine. And then, yeah, reptiles will eventually come back at some point. I still have a lot of my enclosures, and one of my mates is still looking after a few of my snakes, so they will come back up here eventually. There will be definitely a few here in the next little period, but to get back to the big reptile keeping, that'll happen at some point as well.
Does Engie like them? That's obviously pretty important?
Yeah, she's very easygoing with anything and everything, and I think she knows how much of a passion it is of mine and how much happiness it brings me. So she's very supportive of me keeping and having reptiles, which is nice.
And obviously, at the moment, she's going to focus on being a mum. But going forward, is she going to get back into swimming? And can you get her to, move to Australia in terms of like make her an Australian swimmer? Or
she's a very proud Norwegian, so she'll continue to represent Norway. But she will come back to the pool, and our dream is to be able to go to the LA 2028 Olympics together and have our daughter in the stands cheering us on. That would be the biggest dream. So she's been swimming the whole way through her pregnancy. She's a whole lot more motivated and dedicated than what I ever have been. I take so much inspiration from her because she's at the pool every single day, just swimming by herself. She's obviously put on a few kilos as a pregnant mum, so it would be quite challenging for her at the moment. So she's still doing it, and plans to get back in the pool very soon. So my dream will be to race at the Commonwealth Games next year. She's got the European Championships in Paris if she's successful in qualifying for that, and then we'll probably spend a few months over in Norway with all her friends and family, and allow our daughter to spend some time over there for the first time. But it actually looks like you're in Norway in the back of your studio at the moment. It's like the Northern Lights behind kind of thing. So where she's from, during winter, it's pitch black 24/7, but they get epic Northern Lights. Like if she's from a farm as well. So from her bedroom in the farm, you can kind of look out and see the glow of the Northern Lights. So making me feel comfortable talking to you, mate. I feel like I'm talking to someone in Norway.
That's great. And you mentioned before as well, you got the wedding coming up. Will you get married in Adelaide, or will that be a Norway thing, or what are you going to do there?
The plan was to get married in Norway and do the traditional proper wedding in Norway 6th of September, but because the baby's due start of September, the first week of September, we had to cancel the wedding in Norway. So a few people are still going to Norway because they'd already booked flights and accommodation and whatnot. But our wedding now will be in Port Lincoln in January. So
good on you.
Excited for that day, and it'll be cool having the baby there with us, kind of walking down the aisle with the baby. And that's going to be a special day as well. And a lot of Ingie's family and friends are traveling out from Norway to be there with us. So
beautiful.
Some big life events coming up in the next 5-6 months.
You're not wrong. Hey, at least you're used to the early mornings.
That is true. Yeah, I am, but my circadian rhythm's definitely wired to stay up later at night and sleep in the morning. And I think as I've got older, as a professional athlete who's a little bit older, I don't train until 10 or 11 a.m., if not 1 p.m. is my start times for training these days. So I don't have to do very many early mornings anymore. So it's going to be a rude shock having a baby in the bedroom to start with, waking us up and getting up early in the morning. Lucky Ingie's a bit more wired the opposite way. She gets up early. So hopefully she takes control of the early mornings and I'll do the late nights.
Well, yeah, I must admit, I'm very lucky. We've got a 3-year-old daughter that still doesn't sleep very well, but I dodge the nights and I just get up early in the morning and give my wife a sleep and then, give her an extra sleep in on weekends and that. So I've definitely got a good deal there with that bargain.
Yeah, there you go, mate. You are living the dream in every way. I'll have to relay this information on to Engie about how a good partnership should work in sleeping, prioritizing our sleep.
Well, my wife says that I'm so hopeless and too scattered when I don't have enough sleep. So I think, oh, that's a fair deal. So
Perfect. Take that. Make sure you're really scattered on those days that you have to get up early so she's well aware.
Love that. And the Chalmers Swim Academy, how's that going along? Tell us more about that.
Yeah, I think for me, it's really important to give back to swimming. Like swimming's given me so much and I'm super passionate about it and love working with the younger swimmers coming through and I guess passing on all the knowledge that I've obtained throughout my swimming career. I think swimming's one of those more challenging sports where there's not a huge amount of information out there and the top swimmers aren't wanting to share what they do in the water. They want to kind of keep it to themselves so they're not kind of creating competitors. So I found it quite challenging coming through. Like I didn't have huge amount of access to information and I kind of had to learn as I've gone. So I think for me, it's really motivating being able to give back to the next generation of swimmers, hopefully make their careers easier, hopefully upskill them quicker. So we have, swimmers representing Australia quicker than what they would have if they hadn't been in my swim academy. And so, yeah, it's been really cool. We've worked with, hundreds and hundreds of kids and adults, even I guess around Australia, but worldwide as well now. So we're offering quite a few different options. Like you can book in a Zoom call. So kids and adults from all over the world are booking in Zoom calls with us and we kind of get them to send through a few videos of them swimming so we can kind of give them a few technical feedback ideas and then we'll answer all their questions for them and send them over some signed Olympic merchandise for booking in a Zoom call so they can kind of hang that in their room and hopefully that inspires them to get their own Olympic uniform one day. And then we've been doing some swim clinics where we go to clubs or places in mainly South Australia at this point. But we actually are there in person kind of coaching the kids and giving them skill advice and feedback and, again, doing some signing and photos with the kids. And I guess, like I said, it's all just about inspiring them to stay in swimming. And I'm a very passionate South Australian, as you know, and we don't have a huge amount of swimming representation on the Australian team. And my goal is to be able to coach some of the next swimmers coming through onto those teams. And hopefully by Brisbane 2032, I've been able to, I guess, impact some of these younger swimmers' careers and help them get onto their first Olympic team. So, yeah, that was kind of my inspiration and idea behind it, was just honestly giving back to swimmers and especially South Australian swimmers.
That's lovely, mate. And how can people find you more, with the academy?
Yeah, we're on Instagram, so Chalmers Swim Academy, and then that kind of opens up the portal to everything. Like all our website links are on there, and on our website you can book in Zoom calls, buy our Chalmers Swim Academy merchandise, and find out when our next swim clinics are going to be that you can come and join in on. So yeah, it's exciting. We got a couple of swim clinics next weekend. I think we've got about 100 kids coming to our swim clinic next weekend down at Marion. So it's going to be hectic, but so many. I'm so glad that people are willing to give up their Saturdays to come and be coached by me. And like I said, hopefully that progresses their swimming careers and they're representing Australia in no time.
Is that something going forward? And I know we've talked about this before and you've done a bit of work with the tradie side of things and you talked about moving back to Port Lincoln one day, but do you have an interest in being a full-time coach down the track as well?
I think as I've got older, like I've become more interested in that idea because I do love swimming and I want to give back. I think if you asked me 2-3 years ago, I would have said no way. But I think if the right opportunity arose, yes, I would love to. Like if it was to coach high performance swimmers that are kind of making their way onto the Australian team, that would be what I would be super passionate about. If it was really like young, learn to swim stuff, that would be more challenging for me. But I like working with like-minded people. So if I was able to work with those athletes that are on the cusp of high performance, I would be, super keen to work with them. So maybe I still love the tradie stuff, and one day probably will transition into that. But swim coaching will probably be there at some point as well. Like I'm in the process of doing all my coaching licensing at the moment, so I'll be a certified swimming coach very soon. Like I've pretty much done it all. I just have to do my CPR and first aid course, which I actually did do one, but it was a non-certified one. So I sat there for 3 hours and then realized at the end of it I didn't get a certificate, which was a shame. So
Oh no.
which is pretty devastating. But I guess at least I've got all the knowledge now, so I should be able to answer the questions and do all the demonstrations pretty quickly this time around.
That's a good way of looking at it.
Exactly. So yeah, that's where I'm kind of at with what life after swimming looks like. Is giving back to swimming, hopefully opening a swim school somewhere, coaching to some capacity, obviously farming up here, being a dad, doing some labouring, chippy work. I don't know, something in the tradie industry as well is probably what will be my number one day job. But we'll see how the next few years progress leading into the LA Olympics.
Have you got back on the tools in recent times?
I'm on the tools every day now around the farm. There's so much things that I need to do every single day. So I'm actually using my tools more now than I ever have before. But no, I haven't been back down on the site this year, just been too challenging with my change in training. Like I'm training with a different coach at different times. And it's been challenging to get to a work site and then be living up in Harndorf, and I was over in Europe for a long time and away. So life's just been a bit challenging, but I was hanging out with one of my workmates on the weekend and said, I'll definitely be back there at some point. So yeah.
Love that. And your new coach, Ashley Delaney, tell us about him. And does he like the iced coffees like Bish?
Yeah, actually my new coach, so I was with Ashley Delaney up on the Sunshine Coast, and now I'm back here in Adelaide. So I'm with Sean Curtis, who's been a coach here in South Australia for a very long time. He was my coach actually when I was about 11 years old, or 12 years old when I first moved across from Port Lincoln, and he coached me at the Norwood Swimming Club for a little bit of time. And he was coached by Bish, and he was Bish's assistant coach for quite some time. So he works very similarly to how Bish operated, which was a big draw factor for me. But he's got so much experience of working with great athletes at all levels. Like he's coached athletes onto teams and para teams and junior teams. So I know that he's the right person for me to continue to move forward in my swimming career. And even this year, I've been able to swim personal best times for the first time in a long time and have a really consistent, great year in the pool. So I'm really happy with the selection I made with coaching. And he's a South Australian, born and bred. And like I said, I'm a proud South Australian, and I'm back swimming with younger swimmers that I'm no longer attached to the high performance program. I'm swimming with Sean's national gold squad. So I'm swimming with some high school kids, some kids that are just in uni, but they're there for the love of swimming. And I absolutely love going there, talking about swimming and just being there for the love of it and enjoying it. So rather than it being a job. So it's been a really great transition for me. And yes, Sean does really love the iced coffees as well.
There's a common theme there, I think.
You've got to get stuck into him. If you're getting up that early in the morning, you've got to be somewhat addicted to caffeine and obviously sugar as well.
I love that. And who's the biggest prankster on the Australian Dolphins team, whether it be a male or female swimmer, Kyle?
I spent a lot of time with Isaac Cooper, who swims backstroke, and we spend too much time together. So I think he's always playing pranks on me or trying to say something that's going to trigger me and get a reaction out of me. So Isaac knows how to push my buttons and what to do to annoy me. So Isaac would be the number one for
sure. Can you share some of these, or?
No, I just think in general discussions, he knows what to say that's going to bait me to get a reaction and kind of argue with him. Or, I mean, there was one time where he was my roommate and we'd had a very late night racing. Like, obviously, we race, you do a medal ceremony, you get drug tested, you get a massage, you do your cool down. You might not get back to your room until midnight, 1 a.m., and then you get up the next day and you swim again. And that goes on for 8-9 days sort of thing. And we were at a World Championships. It was probably day 4, day 5, so midway through. And Isaac and I had got back really late, eaten dinner in the hotel. And I remember it was about 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. And Isaac snuck off just before me, left the food hall just before me and went up to the room. And I knew he was in there. And I got up to the room and I didn't have a room key. So I was knocking on the door. He didn't answer. I knocked again. He didn't answer. And my room key was inside of my jacket, which was in my bag. So, I mean, I had to undo my bag, get my jacket out, find my key in the pocket. And I was just like, I know Isaac's in the room. He can open it. And I knocked again, still didn't answer. I could hear him in there laughing, thinking it was the funniest thing ever. And I ended up having to open my bag, find that key, open the door, go in there, and he's videoing it because he knew he was going to get a reaction out of me. So I almost punched on with him in that moment. But things like that he does just to get under my skin and keep me alert. But that's why I do value him as a friend, because we never take it too seriously and just have a bit of fun.
Well, I hope you play some pranks back on him.
Oh, I don't play as many pranks because I get too annoyed by the pranks, so I don't annoy him.
Oh, I love that. That's gold. Hey, before we let you go as well, I'm going to ask you, what would be your go-to song for the Legends of Bevo Spotify playlist?
I think Enter Sandman by Metallica. That's one that I always like to listen to pre-race.
I like it.
Headphones on, turn it up as loud as I possibly can. And that's probably my go-to pre-race song.
I love that. And very quickly as well, what's your go-to meal after you finish a big race?
KFC, always.
KFC.
At the end of a competition, when I know that I'm not going back to training for a little bit of time, it's KFC, because I don't get to have that when I'm in training. So when I do get to have it, I make sure I go pretty hard on the KFC. So KFC after racing, during racing, I eat very boring food like chicken and rice for lunch, yogurt and muesli for breakfast, and pasta for dinner. That's my staples that I go. And like I said, we'll race for 8-9 days. So eating that every single day for those days gets pretty repetitive. And by the end of it, I'm pretty keen on some KFC. Although this year at the World Championships, I actually got quite bad gastro. There was gastro going around. I got gastro. So I I wasn't allowed to eat with the team for a few days in the food hall. I had to stay in my room. So I was ordering Guzman Gomez. So
nice.
And then I got stuck on that. So I was pretty much just ordering Guzman Gomez every single day on Uber Eats while I was in Singapore, which was so good.
I like Guzman and Gomez. That's a good choice.
It was so good.
Is it different having KFC, say, in Singapore to Australia?
Big time.
Yeah.
Like that's what I've always liked too, is going to every different country, and the menus are always different. You can try different things and the flavors are slightly different. And like Singapore, I'm pretty sure you can get rice at KFC as the side rather than like chips. So,
right.
It's very different in each country you go to.
I love that.
Like KFC in about 30 to 40 different countries, I reckon.
Oh, wow. That is committed.
I love it.
Well, Kyle Chalmers, thanks so much again for coming on Sports Legends with Bevo. You're always so great for giving up your time, and all the very best with the Bubs, and all the best to Inga as well with the labour there, mate. And we'll look forward to speaking again soon.
Anytime. Thanks so much for having me on, mate, and look forward to catching up with you maybe for some Guzmani Gomez up in Mount Barker when you're up this way.
I like it.